A shattered upbringing that caused Daniel to spiral into a 6-year journey into witchcraft.
I grew up in Georgia. I did grow up in a broken home with a lot of issues. Decided to get baptized while I was on a mission trip, and my heart wasn't in it. I was living a fake life. I was very much addicted to porn and lust, and I would cuss and very much act completely non-Christian. And from then, I started to look into witchcraft, doing spells, how to curse people, hex people, learning different demons' names, different rituals to summon them, to commune with them, and different things of that nature.
A warlock to a warrior for Christ.
King, then he told me to ride. I'm a brand new creature cause they owe me to die. I'm new.
All right, you guys, I'm excited about this particular interview, to say the least. Let me let you know how it all got started, okay? So I have a few TikTokers that I enjoy specifically, okay? But not for nothing, Taj Jackson is one of them, and I was on one of his videos and I saw a particular commenter that caught my eye, and he had an interesting story. So I did a little digging and I noticed that he was a warlock, and he stated that he was in the process of helping other people get out of the occult. And so I was intrigued, and I reached on out to him and I asked if he would do an interview with me, and he agreed. And so I am honored and excited to welcome you guys to the interview with Daniel. Daniel, please let the people know where you grew up, and just go ahead and get into your story.
My name's Daniel. I grew up in Georgia. If you're seeing this on TikTok, I use the name Zelle. That goes into my testimony. That's a whole different video on my TikTok. But I grew up in Georgia. I did grow up in a broken home with a lot of issues. And I did start off going into Christianity, but at some point I just had a bad mental snap from everything I was going through, from being molested to constant family drama and tons of other things. That led me into a day where I decided to get baptized while I was on a mission trip, and my heart wasn't in it. I was living a fake life. I was very much addicted to porn and lust, and I would cuss and very much act completely non-Christian when behind closed doors. When I got baptized on that mission trip, I came home and I went to pray because I felt like I was really convicted and terrified out of my mind. While I was praying, I had a sudden feeling of absolute fear, and it was different from, it was like a godly feel. And I felt petrified, and I tried to look up, and all I saw were feet with more or less holes in them. And I heard a voice say that, "Do not look up. If you try to look at me, it will destroy you. I'm going to give you over to the enemy for a time to shape you, and then I'm going to bring you back." And after that, that feeling left, and a new feeling came in. It was one of pity, and I saw a different person. This one introduced himself as Lucifer, saying that he was going to let me come in as one of their own because our Father had forsaken me too, and he sees how much I hate humanity from everything I've been through. And from then, I started to look into witchcraft, doing spells, how to curse people, hex people, learning different demons' names, different rituals to summon them, to commune with them, and different things of that nature. Eventually, it led to where kind of came in 3 stages, and I don't remember the exact order of these things. But there was one, well, these 2 girls I know, 2 younger witches, were going out to do a seance at nighttime, and they'd asked me to instruct them how to do it, and I had it. That it was like my high school days. They called me at about somewhere now 3 a.m. Tell me, "Daniel, go back to Christ. Go back to Christ. He's calling you home." And I just got wheeled out and hung up, brought it up to him at school. The one that I did go to school with, she more or less chewed me out and started and gagged at the thought that she was trying to get me to go back to Christianity. Another one time was when I was doing the spell at night, and I was trying to commune with a certain demon, and I heard the voice vocally saying, I'm going to take my power from you because I'm more afraid of our father, of what he's going to do to me. It's more or less the gist of it. And I asked, is that true? They said yes. And I said, okay. They said no. And then I stopped hearing the voice, and I couldn't really hex or do anything else after that. The last one, I remember this being the very last moment. I finally saw the snap again. I had very strong conviction. I was very much felt hatred to myself for everything I was doing. How I got in, I was being opposed to God because I never hated Him. I just hated humanity at that point. And while my mom, grandma, and little sister, as it was only us, and I was responsible for helping with all of them, as a man of the house at an early age. At the hospital, I remember grabbing a rusty knife and I was going to slit my throat. I was on my knees ready to do it. Some of those same demons that I used to call and work with by name, I won't say on here because I don't want someone trying to do that home. But they were even trying to tell me not to do it, saying, we still have use for you, we would be happy to see you, but please don't, you have work to do here. And when they said that, it made me actually cement into doing it, and as soon as I started, I felt a hand on me. And I looked over and I saw this, it showed, kind of looked like an angel. And robes and armor, and he is crying, saying, don't do it, we love you, it's time for you to come home. You have not been forsaken, and you are forgiven. And I remember turning around, throwing the knife, and just crying, and then fully repenting to God. And I remember that was the same angel I saw from when I had meningitis as a kid, which is why I have the speech impediment and a little bit of a thought processing issue, something of intellectual disability. Well, when I had meningitis, I don't remember if I flatlined or if I just was on the verge of it. Almost everyone from that time is dead, so I can't really confirm it. And I remember looking down at my body, seeing the same angel at a pedestal with a book, saying I wasn't supposed to be there yet. To wait a moment, love came back and he said our father was giving me the option to stay home with him and with see my world or go back down. But if I do, I'm going to go through a lot more hell because I've done seen this. And that I won't remember it till I need to. And I remember seeing my mother, grandmother, and uncle crying over him. Well, those two crying over him. My uncle was trying to keep my grandpa from shooting the doctors because they wanted to just say I was dead and gone. And I decided to go back down. The angel said our father was pleased with that option and that he'd be seeing me eventually. And after that, I came back. I had to be able to talk, motor functions, and a bunch of other stuff. And pass forwarding towards the molestation and a bunch of other things I've done. I didn't do molestation. Like, I used to rob from donation boxes to make it through. We were a very poor family as a kid. But I'm trying to just summarize it. And it still bothers me some to go back over it.
Right. So, how long were you in witchcraft or the occult?
Let's see. I came to Christ in 2020. Probably about 6 to 7 years.
Wow. So, how long have you been out of witchcraft, out of the occult, and who helped you to get out, or who helped call you out?
My wife, who was my high school sweetheart, she'd been slowly trying to get me to come back more and more to Christianity over the years. And she invited me to a church which is called Life Church. And while I was there, I was more or less worried I was going to be kicked out, I was going to be treated bad or hated. Because there was one member who could see in the spirit, and I know for a fact he could see everything I'd done. He even talked to my wife about it. And this one elderly woman came up to me when I was going to give the church a chance, and I was starting to think maybe I'm not liked here. And she showed me so much compassion, it felt like the compassion of Christ. And I remember crying internally, and I just decided to keep going from that moment forward. And then more and more people slowly came to me. I opened up. I had the young pastor because we have two of them, a head pastor and he started as an intern. He's a student pastor. I, I don't know if it's just saying two pastors not for him. But him, an elder, and some others let me just fully open up about everything I'd done. They prayed over me, and they themselves accepted into the church. And so far after that, it's just I came back to it. And there was a trial by fire, and that's how I got the name Zelle. That involves a encounter with Jesus, which is why I use it for my TikTok. When I did come back, when my wife was pregnant with my son, I want to say about the 7th month. I remember that I was praying and God said, get baptized, trial by fire, and I accepted it. I did that throughout that whole 2 weeks. 1 week was before, 1 week was after. I was having memories of stuff I used to do. I was having demons like actually manifest outside my home looking at me. And even my wife was having times where she would be asleep and she would have like eyes manifest and she could see like shadowy figures outside trying to get to her. But I would need to pray over the house and stuff to keep them from doing it. But during that last week, there was a moment where I saw all the demons again, and they looked at me and said, "You're going to come back to us?" I said, "No," and they said, "We're going to kill you." And from that, I was ready for them to kill me, but I heard a voice said that, "No, you've gone too far. He is mine now, and I've taken him back." And they were just gone in an instant. I turned around, I couldn't really see a face. It was just light. But I saw holes in the hands, holes in the feet. He said, "I am Jesus Christ." He used his name Yeshua. And he said, "I'm going to give you the name Zelle because you were a wolf for the devil, but now you're going to be a wolf for me and chasing out other devils from wherever I put you." And that's how the name Zelle came up to.
That's a beautiful testimony. So, how is Daniel now? Because I heard you mention that you have children and you have a wife. What is Daniel up to now? How is life for
Yeah,
you now?
if it's good. I I'm going to be starting a new job soon. That'll be 20 an hour, which is great because I was unemployed and I did get a temporary job. And I prayed for God while walking forward for Him to bless me, one that would allow me to be more active in the church still on Sundays and go to my church groups. And then I got reached out by a temp agency, Kelly Services, and I'll be starting at a new job for $20 an hour, which will help lower stress off of my wife. For me, it's all doing great. I'm a lot more connected with the faith, and I've been helping her even grow in the faith more. I have my son, who, though he's sick, he's getting a lot better. He's finally talking some. He's 7 months, but he's doing 9 months milestones, like he's trying to run and everything. When he gets those tubes in his ears, I'm sure he'll stop trying to run. And besides how rough I look, I'm doing good, just.
So we had to wrap things up with Daniel. It was a very short interview. I had him for a few moments, right? Because, he has children, he has a family to get back to, as well as I do, Jill. But not for nothing, let his testimony be a testament to God's unchanging love and grace for you. It doesn't matter how deep you get into something, how long you get into something, God's hand is there reaching out for you. And all you have to do is answer the call, grab the hand, right? Not for nothing, you guys. That is the interview, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next one. If you have a story that you would like for me to hear, anyone else to hear through testimony, through this interviewing process, please, please, please slide on in my DMs, or you can send me an email at thewhitneydtv@gmail.com. Until then, I'll see you on the next interview. God bless. Thank you so very much for tuning into this video. I pray that you got something from it. And if you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And let me know down in the comments what you thought about the video. As well as please follow me on all my social media. You can see it down here. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Until then, God bless.